Good morning. I'm Fred Kempe. I'm President and CEO of the Atlantic Council, and it's my honor to welcome you to the 8th Annual International Conference on Cyber Engagement. For those of you who are returning to the ICCE, welcome back. For those of you joining for the first time, get ready. This is going to be a day full of insights and dynamic conversation that will shape this critical domain. I've always found at gatherings like this, the ideas and insights you go away with are crucial, but sometimes the enlarged and enhanced networks, the friends that you make, are even more lasting. At the Atlantic Council, our job for nearly 60 years now has been to promote constructive leadership and engagement in the world alongside friends and allies by providing an essential forum for navigating dramatic economic and geopolitical change, and in this case, those defining the 21st century. Through the papers we write, the ideas we generate, the communities we build, and the conferences we hold, the Council aims to shape policy choices and wherever possible, propose actionable solutions and strategies to shape a more secure world. We're results-oriented, we're dynamic, we want to make things happen, so help us do that today. Simply put, we work together with allies and partners to secure the future and to shape the future. This mission is epitomized by the Council's work in cyberspace, and especially through this gathering. Let me put it in context. In the last couple of years, we've had a series of strategic retreats at the board level and at the staff leadership level, and we've identified 5 megatrends that we think make this an inflection point in history, maybe as important as 1919, 1945, 1989. Some would even go back to 1815 in the Congress of Vienna. Those 5 trends, and this is the context because I think the cyber questions reach into each one of these. The first is we've entered a new era of major power competition. Some would say it's already major power conflict, particularly in the cyberspace. We're in an era of fraying democracies and surging autocracies. We're in an era where after 70 years of U.S. leadership, the United States is the glue that held together the liberal international order. There's a question about what the future U.S. role in the world will be. That's number 3. And then number 4, there's a question about the global system itself that was established in no small part by many of the founders of the Atlantic Council, Dean Acheson, Henry Cabot Lodge, Lucius Clay, Mary Pillsbury Lord, and so on. And then finally, we're in an era of disruptive technology. Some are calling it the fourth industrial revolution, that will have impact on all 4 of the other trends, and on the way we live our lives, run our businesses, and interact as governments. It will have an impact on geopolitics as well. We don't see any of these forces, any of these trends as reason for despair. Rather, we see it as a call to action, as a reason to renew our activities with friends and allies to shape this new era. So in that context, each of us are here today to hear from top thought leaders in the cyber domain, leaders from government, industry, the nonprofit sector, and academia from across the globe. We're eager to hear how we can collaborate, not just compete, in cyberspace with the goal of a more secure and stable cyberspace for all. To that end, the keynotes and panel conversations we have assembled for you today are second to none and international in scope. But before diving into the substance, let me just make a couple of introductions and tip my hat to a few individuals. First of all, Dr. Catherine Lotrionte, founder of this conference, and Brent Scowcroft, scholar at the Atlantic Council, has organized ICCE since 2011. This year, it is hosted for the first time by the Atlantic Council's Scowcroft Center for Strategy and Security, in partnership with Dentons, PKO Bank Polski, and Texas A&M University. We have other partners as well, and I'll come back to that in a moment. Over the years, ICCE has grown significantly in size and significance, This is not surprising, as the challenges we face in cyberspace have only grown since the establishment of this important convening. But I think we also have to look at cyberspace challenges not entirely as solely cyber challenges. More and more, cyber challenges are embedded in a host of other aspects, and therefore are becoming more hybrid challenges more often than not. As we've seen, cyber issues transcend nations and disciplines, demanding international collaboration. The goal of ICCE is to establish an ongoing forum where diverse experts and practitioners can establish a foundation for cooperation and international engagement to address the complex and fluid cybersecurity issues we know all too well, and their interaction with issues that go way, way outside the cyber domain. No matter the country it calls home, digital technology touches every person across the world, and more it touches every aspect of their lives. International collaboration in cyberspace becomes more crucial each day to ensure a safe, secure, stable, and prosperous cyberspace for the citizens of the world. Significant challenges lie between us and that goal. There is no shortage of cyber issues to deal with. From the tensions inherent to the geopolitics of 5G, which we're all reading so much about right now, to the risks of deploying Internet of Things devices across our growing smart cities, to the data and privacy issues that have to do with artificial intelligence, to political disinformation enabled by social media, vulnerable critical infrastructure, precarious software supply chains, the list goes on. Cyber criminals hail from all nations, and they know no borders. Nation states utilize cyber to undermine one another and destabilize a landscape that might otherwise be safe and secure. The Marriott Hotels data breach of December 2018 and the Asus computer supply chain attack just last month remind us of the costs of criminal and nation-state cyber attacks when we don't have international collaboration and norms. And that's part of the reason we've called our cyber activities at the Atlantic Council the Cyber Statecraft Initiative, to reach those norms and collaboration. Nations feel their sovereignty is threatened, companies suffer damages to revenue and reputation, everyday people lose control of personal information and identities. And such attacks will continue to grow unless we act, and unless defense becomes as strong or stronger than offense. At the Atlantic Council, we recognize these challenges and we don't shy away from them. Rather, we take a results-oriented approach by engaging in the everyday work that shapes policy and steers us in the right direction. We are committed to our mission of promoting constructive U.S. engagement alongside friends and allies to secure the future of cyberspace. Our goal for today is to have more than just discussions. We want to move the needle on issues, so help us do that. Help us identify the issues and help us think about how we actually move the needle. I'm optimistic about the ideas and understandings we can forge together today, which we can then turn into the work we do at the Atlantic Council, and you can turn into the work that you do in your businesses and in your office places and in civil society. This conference would not be possible without the work of Catherine and several important partners. As I mentioned earlier, the support of our co-hosting partners, Dentons, PKO Bank Polski, and Texas A&M University were essential in organizing this event for you all today. We're also doing quite a bit of excellent work with PKO Bank Polski in Poland, where they're a true leader in this field. I also want to thank our diamond partners, DXC Technology, the Hewlett Foundation, and Tenable. We are also excited to have the Cipher Brief as our media partner for this event. And thank you to all of our platinum, gold, silver, and bronze partners and more. And you see them all listed in the program that you have in front of you. Your support makes this conference and its important discussions on collaboration in cyberspace possible, and will make it possible for us to go on to the 9th annual and the 10th annual as well. And then finally, thank you to our staff, interns, and volunteers who are running this event. And also, thanks to you who have chosen to join us today. Your interest in finding areas for international collaboration and cyber engagement is encouraging. So without further ado, I'll turn over to Catherine Lotrionte, founder of the International Conference on Cyber Engagement, and new to the Atlantic Council, or relatively new to the Atlantic Council. Catherine, welcome.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. Fred, thank you for the introduction and the welcome. As Fred mentioned, I started this conference out of a conviction that a true multidisciplinary approach and international engagement were and are the only way that the cyber community can begin to address the many complex challenges stemming from our interconnectivity. This year, as Fred mentioned, will be the 8th annual year that this conference has taken place. That is exactly why today we've convened again, and this time we've brought more experts and stakeholders than in previous years even. We're going to have a series of conversations today among us and others that will join us throughout the day on all aspects of cyberspace: the legal, the military, the governmental, the commercial, and the societal. Today, we're going to explore some of the greatest strategic questions in cyberspace. The panels that we'll hear from are very diverse, and they'll cover topics such as the different regional perspectives on cyber, norms in cyber diplomacy, military and intelligence actions in cyberspace, the software supply chain issues. These issues will truly set the tone for our conference, bringing together a diverse range of speakers and perspectives from just about every continent in the world. But we will also address in depth some of the strategic issues surrounding today's more important emerging technologies, such as 5G, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence, and some of the challenges of the key issues such as disinformation and privacy. It's going to be a busy day today. I do encourage you all to take breaks at various times, even if it's not built into the agenda. I'm happy to say that throughout the day we have over 900 people that have registered and they'll be joining us. And most important to me, the reason why I began this conference, today we have over 61 countries that'll be with us, many as speakers, but also in attendance. I hope that we can all kind of gain knowledge from each other, find some time during the day to talk over lunch or step out of the conference and talk to each other. We also have over 100 students registered, and this means also a lot to me. As a professor and someone who began this conference at Georgetown, I feel it's critically important that we involve some of the younger people that will be our leaders in the future in some of these discussions that often only take place with in between the most senior experts and policymakers. But here today, we'll have many students from many universities engaging in these topics, and I'm really excited about that. But now, I want to welcome to the stage our first keynote speaker of the day, Ms. Amy Hess, the Executive Assistant Director of the Criminal, Cyber, Response, and Services Branch of the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigations. EAD Hess oversees all FBI criminal and cyber investigations worldwide. She oversees international operations, critical incident response, and victim assistance as well. She began her career as a special agent with the FBI in January of 1991, and since then has served in the Kansas City, Louisville, Phoenix, and Memphis field offices, as well as in Afghanistan. In 2014, she was promoted to the position of Executive Assistant Director over the FBI's Science and Technology Branch. And in 2016, she was appointed as the Special Agent in charge of the Louisville Field Office with responsibility for all FBI personnel and operations in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We're thrilled to have her here today as our first keynote speaker of the day. So without further ado, please welcome EAD Hess to the stage.